This is some of the best drugstore makeup out there right now, hands down. I've seen this makeup video tag going around for a couple months now. I think Andrea Mattiano was the first one to do it. Today I'm going to be sharing my #1 favorite product from 10 different drugstore brands. These are some of my most used products in my collection as a whole, as well as some downright iconic drugstore makeup. So we're going to get into that, but first, if you're new here, hi, my name is Miranda. Welcome to my channel where we talk all things budget beauty. If that sounds interesting to you, then become the newest member of the Slashed Squad by hitting subscribe and the bell icon. It was really hard to pick a #1 product from some of these brands, and specifically from L'Oreal, because I have so many L'Oreal products that I use regularly in my routine, but I think the one that does stand above the rest as #1 is the Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation. I've spoken about this foundation so much here on the channel, and recently in a video about my makeup collection and what it would be if I wasn't a YouTuber, this is still the foundation I would be using. It's just one of those products where you can't believe that it's drugstore. It performs on me just as well as high-end foundations that I've tried and used to be obsessed with for special events. I get full coverage that's lightweight and flexible, it looks natural, and it lasts all day. While we're on the topic of foundation, let's move on to Neutrogena. So Neutrogena as a whole, I feel like is a brand that's very complexion focused. Even though I know they have color cosmetics and they have eyeshadow and eyeliners, I just feel like their face forward products are the best. So their foundations, their concealers, as well as their entire skincare line. But I would say their #1 product that I have liked the most over the years is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Skin Tint. I unfortunately don't have a bottle on me right now, but it is one of my favorite lightweight face products. It almost feels more like a moisturizer than it does a foundation, but you get a solid medium buildable coverage that evens everything out. You get this natural finish. It is just beautiful on the skin. As someone who struggles with acne and hyperpigmentation, it's one of the very few like tinted moisturizers or skin tints that I actually feel comfortable and confident wearing. Next, let's jump into e.l.f. Cosmetics. e.l.f. has done the most over the past several years. They've expanded their brand so drastically, but when I think of modern day e.l.f., there's definitely one product that comes to mind as the one that I use the most and that I think they've done the best, and that is the 16-Hour Camo Concealer. This concealer blew me away, both in the original matte version as well as the newer hydrating version, which I do prefer. This is the ultimate full coverage, long-lasting concealer at the drugstore, point blank, period. And it's one of the only concealers that I can keep under my eye without a ton of creasing by the end of the day. A lot of people consider it the drugstore Shape Tape because of how much coverage it gives you, and the shade selection for these is pretty dang amazing. The original matte version has 26 different shade options, the hydrating has 25. I had to think super long and hard about what the #1 product from Wet n Wild is, because here's the thing, something I've noticed over the past couple years is that Wet n Wild has sort of turned into a collab brand, where most of their new releases are a collab with another brand or an influencer, or in general, they're just putting out a lot of limited edition collections versus core products. So I really wanted to go back to basics with Wet n Wild, and I pondered what product stands out to me when I even think of the brand. There was only one, the Coloricon eyeshadow. And I'm talking both the quads as well as their 10-pan Coloricon eyeshadow palettes, which are definitely more versatile. But this is the one that I have right now. It is the classic Walking on Eggshells, which used to be a trio. Here's the thing, the Wet n Wild Coloricon shadows are iconic for a reason. Even back before drugstore makeup was what it is today, like actually high quality, these were always above par. The formula is soft, blendable, pigmented. It has stood above so many other drugstore eyeshadows for so long, while remaining like the cheapest. You can literally find this at the Dollar Tree. These little palettes definitely give you bang for your buck, and even years later when I dip into them, I'm not disappointed. I think these and the 10-pan palettes definitely represent Wet n Wild as a brand and what they're about. Next, let's talk about Essence, which is a brand that I've really gotten into, especially this year. Their products are so affordable, and they really have some hidden gems, including their 16-Hour Extreme Lasting Waterproof Eye Pencil. These have become one of my most used pencil eyeliners for tight lining, for smudging out on the lash line, because they are a set it and forget it product. They glide onto the skin so smoothly. You have a little bit of time to play if you you want to blend it out, and then it just stays there. Doesn't smudge, doesn't smear, doesn't travel down your face. If anything, they can be a little bit hard to get off unless you're using like a good cleansing balm. I would say that these perform very similarly to the L'Oreal Infallible eyeliners, which are about $8, and these are about $3. Need I say more? Maybelline, another brand I was really struggling to pick a #1 product from, because when I think of Maybelline, I think of like 5 different favorites immediately. But among those favorites, I think there's one product that other brands aren't doing better, and that is the Master Chrome Highlighter. This is probably the most dramatic drugstore highlighter out there, and y'all know how much I love a dramatic highlighter. So it's definitely one of my most used products from the brand. You can see this one's well loved. Particularly, I have the shade Molten Gold. It is my favorite of theirs. It's sort of a neutral gold, so I think it'd be flattering across many skin tones, but it is so stroby, so glowy. And the reason why I love this product so much and why I think it's the best at the drugstore is that it's pigment forward. It doesn't rely on a ton of shimmer or glitter to give you the glow. So the effect is more smooth looking on the skin, definitely more stroby, and you can really, really build it up without turning into a shimmery mess. So for me, Maybelline just sort of perfected the drugstore powder highlighter. Next up is Rimmel, and this one was not hard at all because the first product that came to mind and the one that I use the most from Rimmel is their 16-hour kiss-proof Provocalips lipsticks. These are a 2-step liquid lipstick where you start out with the color super pigmented, it drenches the lips, and then you seal it in with a clear and moisturizing top coat. The color lasts all day, it is transfer proof. I've said this before, but it is the only lipstick that I trust wearing under a mask. And they're just really low maintenance, which is what I look for in a liquid lipstick. These are a great choice for special events. I've almost always packed them with me on vacations because I don't really have to worry about touching up throughout the day. And I do tend to reach for these more than my Maybelline matte ink liquid lipsticks because they're on the thinner side. They just feel a little bit more lightweight. So if you really like how the Maybelline ones last, but you don't like how they tend to feel a bit thick, try these. They might work better for you. Staying on the lipstick train, I also chose a lipstick for Revlon. Basically, any of their super lustrous lipsticks is gonna be their #1 product, but particularly the matte formula, it's amazing. The thing about this matte lipstick is it applies super balmy. Like, it doesn't feel like a matte lipstick, but you do get that flat matte appearance. The shades are also incredibly pigmented. You basically get full coverage color in one swipe. And even though they're not completely transfer proof or smudge proof, the color lasts on me for about 7 hours, even with eating and drinking. So just a very, very solid lipstick formula. I feel like Revlon in general does bullet lipstick the best at the drugstore right now. I'm looking at my #1 choice for CoverGirl, and I'm going between 2 products in my head as we speak. Do I change it last minute? No, I think I need to stick with my gut instinct because I think there's a reason I chose it first. Okay, my #1 product from CoverGirl is their Flourish by Lashblast mascara. It's sort of just like my Goldilocks everyday mascara because the comb wand is really dense with bristles, so it separates my lashes really well, coats each one root to tip. It volumizes, it lengthens, it gives like sort of this fanned out fluttery appearance that I really like. Plus it's buildable, so you can either just layer on a couple coats and have that slight definition, or you can build it up and get pretty dramatic results. Not as dramatic as like falsies, but a dramatic natural look, if that makes sense. This last product, you may be annoyed that I'm mentioning, but we're talking about the best of the best here, and it wouldn't be fair if I didn't include the NYX Matte Liquid Liner. Have you tried it yet? If you haven't, what are you waiting for? Best liquid liner at the drugstore, hands down. It's water resistant, it stays in place all day, the matte finish is super flattering on a bunch of different eye looks, and the brush tip is so much better than felt tip. If you are still using felt tip liners, stop it. You just get so much more control with a brush tip. You don't have to worry about it like drying out and fraying. And because this brush tip is so fine, it is the perfect product to create precise and defined winged eyeliner. It's my deserted on an island product. I have not tried another liquid liner that comes close to this. And I'm sorry if you're tired of hearing me say it. I am super curious if you have different #1 picks from these same drugstore brands. Tell me yours in the comments below. Today's shout out goes to Jasmine. Thanks for being a member of the Slashed Squad. And join me over in this video next where I do a try-on haul from Kokie Cosmetics and share a ton of first impressions. I'll see you over there. Bye!